What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 90s Basketball Gems. Please like and subscribe. Help out this struggle stream YouTubian. As Dr. Umar Johnson like to call some of us on here that don't get many likes and have very few followers. Kind of help me out. Help me get out the struggle stream YouTubian category by liking and subscribing this page. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about what's going on or what's been happening in the YouTube streets this week. Today, as you can see, I got my man Dreamers Pro here. I listen to his show a lot. I really like his show. I agree with most of the stuff he say, not everything, of course. Today, this particular show, he was talking about Luka and how Laker fans are turning on Luka because of their losing streak. I'm gonna play the video and kind of just go over some things that he may not be aware of, because I think he's a little bit younger than me. I think he's probably in his late 30s, early 40s or something like that. So it's probably some stuff he missed. And then I don't think he's from, I'm not sure if Dreamers Pro is from the U.S. or he lived in the U.S. I don't think he's been out here in L.A. or California long enough to understand the history of Laker fan and how they feel about their team. This is not uncommon, the issue that he having. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And then I'm going to recap the Stephan A. Smith LeBron thing, because I saw KG and Paul Pierce on one of the podcasts talking about it. So I'm going to go over that a little bit too for a little bit. So right now I'm going to go ahead and play Mr. Dreamers Pro and give my take on some of the stuff that he said. Fair use, fair use.
LeBron will have a game where he scores 27 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 turnovers. He had a fantastic game. Nobody going to talk about his turnovers. But now all of a sudden y'all want to talk about Luka's turnover. At one point they were talking about, Luka was stat padding. I'm like, y'all are talking about stat padding? Really? So now you got these Laker fans that are now losing their mind and they're beginning to turn on Luka because they're losing games. Hell, today I tuned into a segment on ESPN First Take, and they're up there hollering and screaming, talking about, man, I'm concerned about what's going on with the Lakers. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Okay, real quick. That's the part I want to comment on. He says now all of a sudden they turning on Luka. Let me tell you something. Laker fans have always been like this, okay? I live in Los Angeles. I'm a Bulls fan. You know why I'm not a Laker fan? Because of Laker fans. Laker fans are the equivalent of, to give you an example of how Laker fans really are, you know how people are agitated with LeBron fans? Laker fans and LeBron fans, same thing. Now, here's the difference, though. I got to say this, and a lot of LeBron fans ain't going to like this. Laker fans don't really like LeBron. Laker fans want LeBron out of L.A., never wanted him here in the first place. Especially the old Laker fans that remember Magic, Showtime, and Kobe and Shaq Lakers, and them Laker fans, they don't like LeBron. They don't want LeBron out here. The younger NBA fans, the younger Laker fans, then, you know, there might be a different story. But let's go back to early 90s. This is post Showtime era, pre-Shaq and Kobe era. It's always been like that. Laker fans are spoiled. They're used to winning. They're used to having stars on the team. All right? It was so bad. Laker fans are so bad that they automatically assume that every star in the NBA wants to play for the Lakers or should play for the Lakers. And you would hear some of the most ridiculous trade requests that they will come up with. Now, Lakers had what was called Lakers pregame show or postgame show. Well, they had a pregame show and a postgame show, right? On the AM station and locally here in Los Angeles, 570 KLAC. If any of you guys remember that. It's now, I believe, it's 570 ESPN, but back in the day, before it was a just some type of old school jazz station that played Laker games whenever the Lakers came on. But fans used to be able to call up the show, talk to the host, who was also a member of the Lakers media staff, and they would say things like, they will request trades like Eldon Campbell for Scottie Pippen, Derek Fisher for, a little bit later, Derek Fisher for Allen Iverson, and they'd be dead serious. Anytime if the Lakers got on the winning streak, it was like, okay, here we go. It's time to win the championship. If the Lakers lost one, it's time for a trade. If they lost 2 or 3, dismantle the whole team. I mean, it was always one extreme to the other. This is how Laker fans have always been. All right? Laker fans are spoiled. Blame Magic Johnson and Jerry Buss and everybody for putting together such a wonderful run in the 80s, because that's the reason why Laker fans are how they are, and they just continue in the tradition. As the Laker fan, that Laker generation gets older, it's still around, it's still here. But like I said, the younger generation is more LeBron fans than anything. Most real Laker fans are just on hiatus right now till LeBron retire, and that's just speaking real. Like I said, I live in Los Angeles, and Lakerland hasn't been the same since Kobe retired. It's been a little bit. It's been different out here. Even after that bubble championship, I mean, the Laker fans there was no parade. They didn't get a chance to celebrate with the team like they normally, would. Of course, because of what was happening in the world. But Laker fans don't really feel connected to that. And now I say I'm not a Laker fan. I like the Lakers. I'm surrounded around a lot of Laker fans. I've debated Laker fans. I've been debating Laker fans for a long time. I've been a Bulls fan since early 80s, before they started winning championships. So they used to get on me big time because, you got to get past Detroit. Oh, Michael Jordan ain't get past Detroit. So he ain't winning no championship. It's about Magic Johnson. That's all I used to hear. Fast forward to 91. Say what you want. Yeah, James Worthy was injured. Byron Scott was injured. But, Bulls win that game in 6 or 7 if they played. The Bulls wasn't losing to no Lakers at that particular time. Now, the Lakers squad was pretty good, but for debate purposes, it's scoreboard Bulls 1, Lakers 0. And I always had that on them. You know what I mean? So, and I've been giving that to them for a long time, even with the whole Kobe thing. Now, Kobe, I kind of have him. I have him as my number 3. I'm a MJ fan. He's my number 1, of course. Scottie Pippen is my number 2 because I'm a Bulls fan. All right, and to me, he deserved it. At the time in the '90s, Scottie was, he was probably the best small forward in the NBA, especially after 1992. But anyway, Kobe, he gave the Lakers a little bit of fire, kind of like MJ, but not quite. But anyway, my point is that I've been debating Laker fans for a long time, and so I'm aware of their mindset and what they're thinking, and just being in LA. You used to see a lot of Laker hats and jerseys and different things in LA. You don't really see that anymore. The whole spirit of in La La Land is it's not what it used to be. It's not that especially this time of year. when they know the Lakers are gonna make a playoffs and they can make a nice run for the championship, there's a certain aura that you would normally feel this time of year in LA that's been missing for a long time. Obviously, the tragedy with Kobe, I think fans are still, ain't over that. That still punched some people in the gut. Similar to, and I know people gonna say, "Oh, that's not the same." When Magic announced his retirement in '91 because of the HIV virus, even though Magic didn't die at that particular time, that virus was considered, a death wish, basically, or death sentence. Not death wish, but death sentence. So in everybody's mind, it was okay. Well, man, how long do we got before he start to deteriorate and get and leave us? And so that was the same feeling that Laker fans had in LA. Difference is, with Kobe's was sudden, but with Magic, it was just like, man. So that's why there was so much, so much love going his way in '92 when he went to the Dream Team. When he went to the Dream Team and he played again in the All-Star game. That was just, him giving back to the fans and just the fans being able to see him play like Magic, one last time or two more times or whatever it was, So, and then he came back, he started coaching, and that, I think he didn't give himself enough time to develop as a coach, but that was only for a few months. And then he came back again in '96, and played against, he got a chance to play against MJ. That game is, I got that loaded, so if you wanted to check it out, check it out. But it's on YouTube and other places too, but you can look at it over here too. As far as basketball gyms, I got different things you can check out over here. A little bit different than everybody else, but anyway. But yeah, going back to my point, Laker fans are, they're gonna do their thing, man. It's normal for Laker fans to be like this, so you don't have to be surprised. There's a reason why a lot of NBA players don't like playing for Los Angeles, or they wanted to play for LA till they got here and they realized how brutal the fans and the basketball media is here in LA. Hey, they are extremely impatient. They want you to win now. They want you to put up good numbers now. In fact, for real Laker fans, traditional Laker fans, they don't care about all this 3-point stats and all the other stupid stuff. They care about victories. They care about, getting to the championship and winning again. They don't care nothing about no 3-point stats and no, triple doubles and all that. They don't care nothing about that. Hey, Magic was a triple double machine. Magic used to get triple doubles all the time. It's nothing that they ain't never seen before what Luka's doing besides just shooting threes. But hey, man, they had Byron Scott and a few other people, man. Like I said, when you start talking about traditional Laker fans, ain't nobody caring about what Luka's doing, man. Outside of winning, as long as he's winning, then they're gonna cheer for him. He start losing, then it's time for him to go. They did the same thing to Kobe. All right, when Kobe, get on, when the Lakers started really losing after Shaq left, and it appeared that the Lakers wasn't gonna be good for a while. All we had was just a guy on the team that was gonna drop 50 every now and then and do some wonderful things. That was nice to see, but man, came postseason, man, Laker fans was disappointed. Man, they like, man, we'll give up all that scoring you're doing for some victories. They give up all that scoring you're doing for some championships again, for you to make it to the finals. Give us something to cheer about. All right, so that's just the nature of Laker fans. So as long as Luka is in the Laker uniform and he's losing and he's not living up to expectations, continue to see it. It's not just about having a star in Lakerland. There's been plenty of stars in the Laker uniform that didn't do nothing. So and the Laker fans gave it to him. So Luka ain't no different than Karl Malone when he came, and Gary Payton when he came, or Shaq or Kobe. All them years when they got Shaq, and they kept losing to San Antonio and in Utah. You think they wasn't talking crap about Shaq? You think they wasn't trying to talk about getting no trade, talking about trades and scrapping the team and getting rid of Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel and everybody that was there prior to Shaq and Kobe getting there? Hey man, it's what it is out here in LA. It's what it is out here. So uh y'all gotta you Luka fans and you LeBron fans and you modern day fans, y'all got to understand what it's like being being, if you call yourself a Laker fan or you call yourself watching the Lakers, and once they start losing, and you start listening to the media and you start listening to Laker fan, you're gonna hear some nonsense. I'm just keeping it 1,000. You're gonna hear some nonsense. Like I said, I'm not defending them at all because, like I said, I'm not a Laker fan because of Laker fans. Laker fans are crazy. Laker fans, they they spoil brats. They spoil kids. Blame Magic for it. Blame the Showtime era for it. They spoiled the crap out of Laker fans, man. And so, and it just is what it is. So let's hear what he got to say now. Now, right now, he's going to have to start talking about what Stephen A. Smith and ESPN is mentioning about Luka and everybody. So let's hear what let's hear what they got to say.
Guys here.
All right, Asa, I'm going to start with you. How far can the Lakers fall before we need to be worried about their postseason ambitions?
Hell, we need to be worried right now based on what we've seen the last 3 games. Particularly the last 2 without LeBron James. They're a shell of themselves right now. We understand that. And the reality is they got to get it together because J.J. Redick applauded their effort last night after abhorring their effort against Brooklyn a couple of games before, a couple of nights before against Brooklyn. So their effort was there last night. They were playing against a superior team because Milwaukee is superior to them if they don't have LeBron James, and that's what you're looking at right now. Here's where it gets dangerous. When we fantasize about the Lakers and potentially making the Western Conference Finals, considering the way LeBron has played and the way Luka has been coming on, the combination of the two changes everything in terms of the fortunes for the Los Angeles Lakers. With those two on the court together healthy, there is no question that the Lakers can get to the Western Conference Finals, without a doubt, okay? And they can compete for a chance at the championship. But without LeBron James at age 40 in his 22nd season, which is just a testament to his greatness, without him, we see how the Los Angeles Lakers look. And here's where it really gets dicey. Even if the Lakers are healthy, have you seen the Oklahoma City Thunder this year? Have you seen how elite they are defensively? See, everybody's looking at them as the number 1 seed last year and comparing them to this year. What they are missing.
Let me mention this real quick. Because he said something, I wanted to stop it a little earlier. But he said, Stephen A kind of touched on something that I was thinking. LeBron's been sitting out. He been playing. They've been on the winning streak. And then now all of a sudden, he's out, he's missing, he's supposed to be injured. Is he really injured? Or is he like, okay, listen, he was on this winning streak when I'm in the game or when I'm playing. Everybody on this Luka hype and he's the new star. Okay. I'm going to sit out and then let's see how Luka handle this team. Y'all think that he's the new sheriff in town. Y'all think that he's better than me. I'm going to show y'all that he's not by sitting out. You know what I'm saying? I kind of think that's what's going on right here. Stephen A didn't say it, but when you look at how the NBA is structured today and players could just sit out anytime they want and nobody says anything, and we've seen how petty LeBron could be lately, announcing, right before the All-Star break, All right before the All-Star game, he's not playing. You know, getting into it with certain fans, kicking fans out the game, rolling up on Stephan A, getting in his face like he about to, like he about to beat him up. So I don't think it's far fetched for him to be like, especially since he's doing all these things trying to manipulate the minds of the fans to think that he's the GOAT and he's actually better than Michael Jordan. He's the best player that ever walked on the court. He's doing everything to manipulate the minds of the fans, in all other areas. So it's not a far-fetched thing to think that he's sitting out to expose Luka to not be that player that everyone think he's going to be. So that's something that's interesting too. And I also found out that Luka's going to be out versus this game against Denver. So maybe Luka decided, I'm going to preserve my name by sitting out. That way, if we lose or when we lose, no one's blaming me either. See where we at in the NBA now? This is the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are one of the NBA's top teams. That's a team that the Lakers are going to have to see down the road in the playoffs if they want to actually get to the finals and win a championship. They're going to have to see them or go through them again. Old school NBA stars wouldn't miss this game in the world, even if they injured. They're going to try to play because they want to see, first of all, they want to try to prove or send a message to that team that, hey, we here and we going to beat y'all. We going to show y'all what you guys, what to expect down the road. Denver Nuggets, again, with the old school mentality, or if they had the old school mentality, would be trying to send that same message to the Lakers, that, hey, we the team to beat. And so we going to show you that you ain't where you're supposed to be. And so, and that's the thing that rivalries are made of. Sending messages like that, And so back in the day, the stars will suit up, whether or not they're injured or not. They going to get together, they're going to suit up and be ready to play. These players today, they're more worried about their name, and they're more worried about being scrutinized on social media. They're more worried about other things than playing hard. They running away from the challenge. See, players, and I say back in the day, it's not that much further. I mean, I could mention the 80s and 90s, but hey, man, players in the early 2000s wasn't running away from no challenges. I don't think Derrick Rose was running from a challenge. I don't think LeBron early in his career was running away from no challenge. D. Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard with his days with Orlando, they wasn't running away. Tim Duncan, man, they wasn't running away from no challenge, man. They'd be in there trying to play so that they can prove them. So KG, Paul Pierce, they was about to get out there and give it all they had to prove that, hey, man, you ain't got no edge over us. I'm injured. Look, I'm injured and y'all taking this whooping. I'm injured. So imagine what's going to happen in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Imagine what's going to happen in the finals. So y'all ain't ready for this. I'm going, especially if I'm healthy, y'all really in trouble. And so it was just a different mentality. So, so that's too bad. That sucks for Laker fans. And this is why Laker fans are mad. This is why they want LeBron out. This is why they not fans of Luka. They probably haven't put two and two together yet, but I'm willing to bet that LeBron is sitting out to show the world that Luka is not the savior for the Lakers. and that he's nothing without him, and that the Lakers are going nowhere without him. And Luka, because he's taking a hit for these losses, he's not used to this LA bashing that he's getting. He's gonna go ahead on and sit out so that he don't take no more of the abuse. So the question is, how long is he gonna sit out? Now, young fans may be listening and saying, "Hey, man, you sound silly, man. Whatever, bro. All this other stuff." But I'm just telling you, once you start looking at basketball from a different lens as you get older, and you start looking at the business side of it, and you start seeing what, the shenanigans that these players are allowed to do, it's not far-fetched, man. These fools are sitting out because, they on some childish stuff, man. They don't want to play. They not basketball hustlers like what we had in the past. So it is what it is. All right, now let's go into KG and Paul Pierce take on LeBron and Stephen A. Smith. Their little beef the other day at the Laker game. LeBron walked up on Stephen A., as we all know. And so I find it interesting. KG said something very necessary, or very interesting, that I was thinking also. I'm going to go ahead on and play it and let you guys get my take on it. Again, fair use.
And I'm not gonna come at it with attitude. I'm gonna come at it with emotion. Emotion. I'm gonna take the emotion out because let me understand what you was trying to say, right, and we can discuss it like that.
Probably can help you. Can you help? You want to help work with him? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where I'm at. Especially right now. Like, damn, he said something like, boom, boom, boom. I felt like Bron would have put him to the side. Probably could have got more out of it. But listen. But he can reach Stephen A. at any time. Listen to me. That's what I'm saying. He didn't have to do that. He wanted that. He wanted the world. He saw the opportunity.
That part.
He saw the world too, bro. You get his line, yeah, for sure. Rich, because it ain't something he said that day.
So that's what I'm saying. He wanted that world to see that interaction like that.
Yeah. Like, you know what it was? He hurt.
See that part right there. LeBron wanted that. You could tell by the way he postured himself in front of Stephen A. The facial expression, the facial, moving the head side to side. Now look, LeBron normally when he's talking on the court, what is he doing? He got his mouth covered. He don't want nobody to know what he's saying because he know there's lip readers out there. Same reason why when he said what he said, the very next day, it was lip readers saying, trying to translate what he said. Some people got it right, some people got it wrong, whatever. But he made sure that the world was going to see that. If you go back and you look, he kind of gave a little look at the camera like he knew that camera was right there. I find it interesting that they don't show the other side so that you can see Stephen A. Smith's face and what he may have said. So again, to his point, he wanted the world to see that. He wanted everybody to talk about that. He wanted it to be known worldwide that he checked Stephen A. about talking about his son. And again, Stephen A. wasn't wrong. Stephen A. said everything everybody else was saying and thinking or whatever. And by the time Stephen A. said something, he had to. Same thing, just like what he said when he was on Gil's Arena. I had said that same thing, before he said it was on, or before he was on Gil's Arena. I had said, he didn't have a choice but to say it, because if he didn't say anything, then everybody would be like, "Hey, what's up? Why you ain't talking about Bronny like you talk about everybody else?" And so that's the thing about Stephen A. position. He got a cold position because, if he don't say something, the fans got a problem with it. if he do say something, the athlete's got a problem with it. So, you know, he's in an interesting spot, but I guess, hey, that's why you get paid the $100 million, dog. Which, by the way, in my opinion, or not even in my opinion, if you go back and if you pay close attention to what he was saying on Gil's Arena, I mean, that podcast, you know, he speaks about it as if he started it. And he probably did, but I find it seems as though, it appears as though ESPN still got control of what he say, even on that podcast. Because he said that, if you go back and you listen to what he said that his bosses told him that he had to talk about it, you know, on his podcast as well as ESPN. So, you know, I find that interesting, but, you know, hey, and it's not an issue, but I just find it interesting that these guys, these sports media guys try to act like they got these podcasts independent of the mainstream corporations, but they still being controlled by them. Jason Whitlock, another person. You know, I thought that was his whole thing, but when you go back and you look at that whole network that he's on, man, that's a corporation. It's a whole bunch of different people operating under that, or under the same corporation. A whole bunch of different podcasters and media personalities. So, you know, it is what it is. But shout out to them. They're making their money. They're doing their thing. But that's pretty much it for this particular case. Now let's move to the next topic. This is Mr. Marcellus Wiley talking about LeBron James' son, Bronny James, and you know, I'm a fan of Marcellus Wiley. I like Marcellus Wiley. I've been listening to him since he was first got on ESPN locally here in Los Angeles, ESPN Radio. Him and Max Kellerman. I think this was before they was introduced to the world via ESPN TV. They was on ESPN Radio here in LA. They did a show together for a while, and that's where I learned of Marcellus Wiley. Smart dude, homeboy. Not homeboy as in I know him because I never met Marcellus Wiley, but he's from Compton. I'm from Compton. We grew up probably about a mile or so away from each other. So, you know, hearing his story, went to the NFL, went to, you know, Columbia, Ivy League school, and did well, man. I'm always proud to hear my fellow Comptonites, or whatever you want to call us, do well. Spotlight on Compton has always been NWA and gangster rap and gangster this, gangster that. And don't get me wrong, it is, but there are so many other positives to Compton. And so for somebody like Marcellus Wiley, you got Venus and Serena, we got Tyson Chandler, you know, so many people. You guys know who's from Compton. So many people from Compton, man, that's shed some positive spotlight. And then there's a lot of us like myself who, you know, born and raised, you know, in the 80s when crack and gangs was, and drugs and everything was on the street heavy, and violence was on the street heavy. I've managed to survive it and do well and not get caught up in any of the pressures and peer pressures, and we made it out alive and safe and living decent lives. Hey, man, shout out to us. So kudos to you. Shout out to Mr. Marcellus Wiley. Now, I got all that out the way. And if you're still with me. He's talking about Bronny. And he's been kind of caking it up for LeBron lately, man, and just kind of, you know, on some stuff, man, that he be kind of pissing me off lately. But today, he found a video that he's going to play in support of Bronny, And I actually, even before this, I actually got a take on the whole salary thing, because a lot of people was giving the Lakers and everybody problems with the fact that they signed LeBron to or Bronny James to a contract, to a, what is he getting, $7 million, $8 million contract. But anyway, let me play this real quick so that you can and then I'll go into it again. Fair use.
Ah, man, you got a long way to get respect and recognition. So it's good taking that shortcut, but it's bad because we ain't gonna give you your flowers. Oh, no, matter of fact, we taking them. And the ugly is, damn it, you just could never be Bronny, right? No matter who you talk to, no matter what's going on, it's not your Bronny. You're LeBron James's son. You can never just be Bronny. Well, I found a video that may sway some of y'all, and I love it too much. So I'm gonna let my man Kick Sports 24 cook at this, and let me get you. I gotta get y'all this fullness. This is sick. This dude went in, and I'm loving all of it. Let's go. Come on.
Stats and contract to all the players the Lakers passed up on in order to take LeBron's son. Because the media is saying they wasted a draft pick and gave him money a second rounder normally doesn't get. But that doesn't appear to be the case at all. Remember in a previous video I compared him to the other 3 guys drafted after him, the final 4 picks in the draft? NBA stats here in yellow, all pretty similar. It's not like they missed out on the next Jokic. D-League stats, Bronny, 22, 5, and 5, kind of cooking. The other guys, 9.6, 4 rebounds to assists. Flourish, 8 points, 9 rebounds, and then Ariel and Cody, 7.7 board. Statistically, it appears this was the correct pick. So the comments said, yeah, but look at his contract. It's nepotism. He got this 4-year, $7.895 million contract. Let's look at the other second-round picks who signed contracts. I see a lot of these 4-year, $7.895 million. Oh, it's just the standard second-round pick exception this year. I haven't heard anyone complain about Cameron Christie getting 4 years, $7.895 million. Yeah, but Bronny was drafted 9 picks after him. That's nepotism. All right, let's go to the previous year's draft, 57 and 58. The last 2 picks in the draft. Look what they got, 4 years, $7.639 million. They were drafted later than Bronny. They got the standard second-round pick money last year. Haven't heard anybody complain about these 2 names. So Bronny's NBA stats are on par with a late 50s pick. His G-League stats are better than the other late 50 picks. And his contract, the nepotism, it's on par with other second-round late 50s picks. They drafted him 4th from last. Who did you want them to take in that spot instead? Let's compare Bronny James' stats and contract to all the players the Lakers passed up on in order to take LeBron's son.
This guy.
Oh man, I don't laugh too.
This guy is such a LeBron James. You know what? I think Clutch Sports got him. They slid him some money because he been him and Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock been on some LeBron stuff too. And I'm not anti-LeBron. I'm really not. There's some things I don't like, but yeah. But anyway, I do have to say this. My take on the whole contract thing, man, is look. Even if Bronny James didn't get a lot of money, or if he didn't get a lot of playing time at all, whatever the case may be with LeBron, just them having him on the team is going to generate money. Just him, there's a lot of people that went to the game just so that they could see history. There's a lot of people that went to the game just so that, who knows, he might have a good game so they could see, maybe, who knows, LeBron toss his son alley-oop or vice versa, to see some type of interaction between the two that you've never seen before. Like I said, I'm not anti-LeBron. I actually like seeing him play with his son, that whole thing. Like I said, I'm a fan of LeBron off the court. It's in terms of, the image that he's putting to, for young men to be fathers and to take pride in being fathers and showing himself to be a family man and all that stuff, whether or not it's for show or not, again, I don't know what his personal life is like. We have to wait till he retired to see what really is going on, because that's usually what happened, right? Seeing that with MJ and anyway. But anyway, I like the fact that he's showing himself to be a, stand-up dad and husband and family man. So kudos to him for that. And so to see him be able to play ball with his son, that's a dream of his. People say, oh, well, LeBron, that's your dream. That may not be your son. Yeah, may not be, but that's still his dream. Every parent have a dream for their child. Some, especially if you're in a career, you could be a truck driver, you could be a police officer, a firefighter, somebody. You got young ones coming up behind you. Chances are you're gonna want to see them follow your footsteps. You don't want to see them come in after you. It's not uncommon. It's just I'm sure all the other greats would love to have their youngsters come behind them and go into the NBA. And Charles Barkley talked about how heartbroken he was his daughter didn't make it, or even or didn't want to play basketball. She didn't like sports at all, so that was heartbreaking for him. While we on this topic, I'm gonna be honest, this may be kind of, I don't know, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I wonder how Magic Johnson feel, man. He wanted his son to play basketball. He got two, but that one son is about as tall as him. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But Isaiah Thomas too. Isaiah Thomas got, I think he got a couple sons. He got a son that looked just like him. But MJ got two boys. They tried to play basketball. I don't know what happened. I think, and see, that's the thing, I'm sure MJ could have pulled some strings to get a man, and he didn't. Or, I don't know if he tried, but, they didn't play. They didn't make it to the NBA. Marcus, it appears Marcus was better. He had game, but I think Marcus was just, enjoying the privileges of being called Michael Jordan's son, as we've seen lately with all his antics in the media in the recent years. He just happy to he just like, listen, I just want to enjoy NBA superstardom off the court, because that's basically what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's enjoying the fruits of being Michael Jordan's son and everything that comes with that. So, I'm sure, it would have been nice for MJ's daughter, play basketball, play in the WNBA. Kind of wonder what Gigi would have been like, and Kobe and all that. That's sad. It's just a really sad situation, man. But that would have been nice, to see that. If Kobe had a boy, oh man. So everybody want their kids to, come behind them, especially if they had success, major success, and especially if they got connection. Man, you know how many people got they relatives working jobs and in certain industries. You hear about people that was in the military, and I guess the military is different. You gotta put in the work to make it. But like certain jobs, like police and firemen, and truck drivers, and other certain professions. You always hear of somebody who got involved in it because their dad was in it. It was a generational thing. Their granddad was one. Their granddad was a cop. Their dad was a cop, so now they're a cop. Is just kind of following in line. I think every man, somewhere would, every man would like to have that. Pass down different things generation to generation, and LeBron is no different. And so he just so happened to have the power and ability to make it happen for his son. What I don't like is them trying to say, oh, well, no, I didn't need my dad to get in, or them trying to downplay that. It's not nepotism. It is, man. Come on now. And, it's all right. It's all right. Do your thing. You made it happen for your son. If you can make it happen for the other son, cool. That's probably why he's trying to stick around a little longer. Because nobody really, think about it. Nobody's talking about, hey, LeBron, when you going to retire? Back in the day, after a player got to certain years, it was like, hey, man, how much longer? You will always hear the media ask questions, how much longer? How much longer you going to play? And usually, the players, oh, man, I might play 2 more years, 3 more years. I think they asked LeBron once or twice or whatever. But, man, you don't really hear them asking him that much. You know what I mean? So who knows? He probably trying to stick around and play with his other son, man. Get his other son in the NBA. It is what it is, man. If they're going to allow him to do it, if the stage is set for him to be able to make that happen for his boys, then it is what it is. Unfortunately, is at the cost of the fabric of the game and making it on merit and all that stuff. But hey, man, hopefully at some point he becomes really good and it become a situation where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm happy they made that move. I think the other thing too is it also depends on what situation he's in. He might not be in the best situation to succeed. Think about it. His numbers is terrible on the Lakers, but then when he go to in the G League, although it's South Bay Lakers, it's still a different team, and he's putting up good numbers. So what that tell me is that he's definitely better than what his numbers on the Lakers say that he is. So that means that he might just be in the wrong situation. Now think about that for a second. I think that that's the case with a lot of players that don't reach their potential. Is that they're in the wrong situation. Let's look at Draymond Green, for example, right? Draymond Green, and there's nothing really special about his game. I think that if he didn't go to the Warriors, I don't think he's in the league. I think he's probably, played 1 or 2 seasons in the league, and he done because there's nothing special about his game, right? But at the same time, when it comes to the Warriors, he's the brick and mortar to their success. Without Draymond Green, the Warriors is not the Warriors that we know them to be today, because he's a very intricate part of that team. He does a lot of the little stuff that they need to win. He does a lot of little things for them. Now, we saw how things went when Clay and Steph was injured that year, and it was just him. I don't even think the Warriors made the playoffs that year. So he's not a scorer like that. He's a playmaker. He's he does a lot of other things that that team needs. But because he was in the right situation, he now have somewhat of a Hall of Fame career based on being in the right situation. Not so much because he's this great player, but the Warriors system that they have was able to maximize his full potential as a player to where he was able to flourish into the player that he is today. Now, he's a relevant, prevalent player in the NBA. In the NBA that's, based on the player scoring a lot of points. Draymond don't score a gang of points, but, he's a player that, when you hear his name, when he's on the court, hey, man, teams got to worry about him because he's going to make plays. You can't leave him open. He ain't the best three-point shooter, but you better not leave him open. He will make plays. He will do a lot of little things. He will, tussle with other players to get their head out the game. Do them little Dennis Rodman tricks or whatever. He's a vocal guy. What I mean? He does, like I said, things that the team needs. So Bronny could be the same way should he go to a different team. I think that might be the solution to that. When you look at expansion teams, let's take because a lot of the younger generation like to say, "Oh, the '90s were watered down because of expansion." Oh, shut up. No, expansion, if anything, it makes the NBA stronger because it creates more opportunities. Now, let's take Scott Skiles. He's an old point guard. He's known nowadays as a coach, but he was a pretty good point guard in the early 90s. He got drafted by Indiana, I think sometime in the late 80s, but it wasn't enough spots for him to play, so he sat on the bench for a long time, right? So now here comes an expansion team. He gets caught up in Orlando. And then now he's having he's playing like Mark Price. He's having these big, assist games, and he can shoot the three. He can handle the ball. He's doing all these things. His numbers. He turned into a player. People was like, "Hey, what in the world? Where'd he come from?" He was on the bench. There was no opportunities for him, but expansion opened up that opportunity for him. There's a couple other players that Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, they got drafted. They were, I think, the early drafts with the Orlando Magic team. All right. Shortly after, here comes Shaq, here comes Penny. Now they are, within a 5-year period, they're a championship contending team. What team did they replace? Maybe the Celtics. The Celtics went away. The Pistons went away. Okay, here comes Orlando Magic. Replace them. Then the Charlotte Hornets, they get Alonzo Mourning, and they get Grandmama, Larry Johnson, and they got Muggsy Bogues, who had been in the league for a while, and Kendall Gill. I think they already had Rex Chapman. I think he was one of their first draft picks. And Rex Chapman, he was a leaper. He used to dunk on people back in the day. I don't know if y'all knew about Rex Chapman. Rex Chapman, he was a posterizer. I shouldn't say that. I think I'm being extra. But he used to dunk. He used to get up. He was one of them people that could dunk. He would posterize you. I think he had a couple posters. But I think later in his career he became more of a 3-point shooter. But Rex Chapman was pretty good, and they were an up and coming team. I guess who would they replace? The Celtics. Again, this is all early 90s when the Celtics and the Pistons went down, through retirement. Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys, they went away. Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and that whole team, they went away. Now here come Orlando Magic. Now here come the Charlotte Hornets, right? You could throw the Miami Heat in there. Miami Heat was an expansion team. Steve Smith early on. I think they were one of the first ones to make the playoffs in '92. They got bounced in the first round by the Bulls in '92, but they were a playoff contending team. Had some good players. Where would those players go without the expansion team? Again, within 5 years, them 3 teams were competing for championships. Charlotte wasn't competing, but they were on their way. When you look at them in '93, that was probably their best year when they put the Celtics out the playoffs. That was their best year. Alonzo hit that shot, and I think that was the shot. I think that shot put them out the playoffs. But Alonzo Mourning hit a shot at the buzzer, And if my memory serves me correctly, that game swept the Celtics out the playoffs that year, and that was pretty much the end of Bird and everybody from that team. But yeah, expansion did not water down the NBA. It made it tougher. So people say, oh well, that's what Dennis Rodman and Larry Bird and all them said that because their team their team suffered because of expansion. The bad boy Pistons, they lost one of their key horses, Rick Mahorn, to expansion. So they didn't like expansion. They feel like that, would have helped them probably even get past the Bulls in '91 or at least compete better. Larry Bird, okay, his team was his team lost to an expansion team. So no, it didn't water it down. The other thing is the expansion teams, when they come in, they get the worst players in the NBA. What happens is, like if you guys play 2K, the teams, when there's an expansion going on, there's players that they don't protect, and it's usually bad players or players with bad contracts. It might be some good players, but they got bad contracts or whatever. And teams basically pick the scrubs off of other teams. And those teams are usually terrible the first couple years. So those teams give a championship team like Chicago an automatic victory that first year because, they're not about to beat no championship team with a bunch of scrubs on there. They might get fortunate and win one or two, but they're not making no real waves. Expansion teams don't start officially getting better till maybe 2 or 3 years later on. Then you might, when you look at those teams I mentioned, it took them anywhere from 3 to 5 years to finally become a championship contending team or a playoff team. So, this whole narrative about expansion teams watering down the NBA is just a bunch of hogwash. You know what I mean? So I don't know how I ended up on that conversation, but that's where we are. But yeah, Marcellus Wiley, he is a LeBron guy, and he's pro player. His takes are always going to be pro player. And then, of course, because he's an athlete, so, he's going to be on their side, of course. I just find it interesting that him and Shannon Sharp, the football guys, they like to take the side of, LeBron or whatever. I don't know. Was it because LeBron was a football player in high school? I don't know. But that's interesting. All right, so that's pretty much it. If you listened this far, I thank you. Please like and subscribe. Help this struggle streamer, this YouTubian struggle streamer, as Dr. Umar Johnson called most of us out here, with a few likes and only a handful of subscribers. Go ahead on and help me get out the struggle stream category, and give me a couple of likes, man, and subscribes, and I'll be putting up more content as the time goes, as the drama folds, and that's pretty much it. You guys be good. Y'all have a good one.